The purpose of this video is to ascertain the facts in order to understand the most frequently asked questions from the Marxist point of view with regard to China. Thank you for understanding. So, moving right along, what is this question? The question is China a socialist state? The social systems, pensions, wages are not symptoms of any particular socio-economic formation. For example, Sweden's level of living is extremely high, but only the narrow-minded call it socialism. So what is the main criteria that we should use? Karl Marx identified the basic contradictions of capitalism as a contradiction between the social form of production and private appropriation. Is this contradiction resolved in China? No! So, the question is not relevant anymore, but perhaps we're being a little too blunt. Let's go into more detail. Let us turn to history. The policy of reform and openness was launched by Deng Xiaoping at the general line of the Chinese Communist Party in 1978. The plenum summarized the activities of the party in recent years, and it was decided to make an accent on economic construction. Reform began with the village. By its nature, the reform is aimed at removing any barriers to the development of social productive forces, said the general architect. Only a few years later, this policy of reforms and openness would grow into socialism with Chinese characteristics. Deng Xiaoping put forward the thesis that the plan and market were two techniques of the socialist market economy, and it wasn't a purely capitalist basis. The state had to use both methods skillfully for getting the best result. The following most important moment in the theory of Deng Xiaoping is the dominant position of public ownership, which is enshrined in the current constitution of the PRC. But if this situation still has not changed, the definition of the role of the market changed repeatedly. The beginning of this change was the Congress of the Communist Party of China in 1992. The thesis of building a socialist market economy was said there first. The role of the market in resource allocation had been recognized as a fundamental subject to state regulation. 20 years later, in 2012, the Party Congress statement had changed and took the form more and more broadly to demonstrate the fundamental role of market in resource allocation. Now, the main issue was giving the market a resolute role that will likely be finally approved by the Congress this year. But at the same time, there is the problem of identifying the best role for the government, as it clarifies that not all areas of the market can play such a significant role. The uniqueness of this specific Chinese socialism was made by the general architect, the dominance of public ownership of the means of production and the absence of the polarization of society. During the proclamation of the policy of reform and openness, these distinguishing features would have been perceived as reality. However, what can we see after 39 years? If state ownership is still leading, the division of society into layers will increase so bad that Deng Xiaoping would have a mental fit. Generally, the notion of the socialist market economy with the Marxist point of view is a simple use of phrase-mongering and populism. The specifics of Chinese socialism is that there is no socialism there. In fact, the whole theory of socialism with Chinese characteristics was put forward to justify state capitalism that now prevails in China. A huge gratitude to all those who helped us morally and financially. Our contact details are underneath the video.